So we're truly in the presence of kings here, huh?
Seriously.
Two kings. Three? King Mansa Musa, King Sunjata Keita, King Shaka Zulu, King Swati III, King Letsie III, King Topsy, that's me by the way. Oh yeah, what's up guys? I am king now of an African village. How did I convince an entire village to allow someone as incompetent as myself to rule them? A week before this, I was just like you. A regular, born 20-year-old, no girlfriend, no money, no motion, no servants, no crown, no life. I just felt like I needed a change of scenery, but because I have a life, it's not like I could just take the first plane to Africa. This is really hard to eat with. Please, can I just have one spoonful? There's a higher chance of being struck by lightning than this plane crashing and killing everybody, including myself, on board. After sitting on a plane for 25 hours, I landed in Douala, the largest city in Cameroon. It took another 10 hours to get to the village from here, largely due to the fact that the roads are so bad in Cameroon. Like, it's one of those things you take for granted until you spend 10 hours with your body involuntarily vibrating in the back seat with 5 other people. Also, all 5 of you are sticky because Cameroon is on the border of Africa, so the humidity is actually, it's unbearable, I'm not gonna lie. But the reason I'm going to the village in the first place is because this is where my parents are from. I grew up in an African household. I love my culture, but up until now I had only been to Africa one other time in 2019. Now I'm here for my second time ever. I wanted to approach Africa with my older self, you know, I'm more mature, capable. Like, I'm so capable now that if a dog were to randomly attack my sister, I wouldn't just stand there. Whoa! But the question still remains. How did I go from a typical American dude to an African king? It was a long process, and the act of becoming king was actually the easiest part of this entire video. So before I tell you how I became king, I'm going to tell you the impossible task of being accepted by the villagers. I had to enact a 4-part plan. Part 1 was gaining the villagers' acceptance. So for some context, Cameroonian people have an insult for when someone is not presentable. It's kind of like the African N-word, and it's villageois. It basically just means, hey, you look like a villager. It all started when we finally pulled up to our house in the village and there was just a cow there. At first I was excited because I've always wanted to drink milk straight from an udder, but then the villagers started tying it up and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. They killed the cow. Then the villageois pulled up. These kids were all up in the cow. No fear, no hesitation, pure curiosity. And without washing their hands, they're eating, climbing trees. Ugh, it was actually kind of amazing. This was my chance to make them think I was cool.
Can't even climb a tree.
But even though I was still trying to participate, they didn't seem interested in me at all. So the first part of my plan was kind of a fluke, but that's okay because I had a secret weapon. Part 2, force the villagers to like me by buying them a bunch of stuff. Before coming to Africa, I had the idea of buying a bunch of snacks that I knew would never really be available in Africa. Even I haven't tried a lot of these, so I thought it would be interesting. And it was because over the course of the next week, at the same time every day, I would come out with new snacks for them to try.
Les jus du Japon. Je sais pas comme ça. C'est bon? Okay. They like it? I think they like it. I'm not gonna lie, I've never tasted this one, so I don't know if it's actually good or not. They like it. Here.
You know me though, I had to ruin a wholesome moment. Since the candy worked so well, I pulled out my phone and introduced the villagers to TikTok, Skibbity Toilet, Riz, all the good stuff. So now their attention spans were fried just like mine is. I still feel kind of bad though, I probably should have shown them something educational. But now that we were friends, I wanted to be respected as a villageois. After a few days, they had already rubbed off on me and I started to look and act the part. Yeah, this is normal here. This motorcycle's looking really empty. I could tell it was going to take more to gain their respect, but the villageois seriously started opening up to me. They were genuinely some of the smartest and funniest kids I have ever met.
Okay.
But the way I could tell I was making progress was when they started including me in all of their games and activities. Except I sucked at all of them. Because of this, I was confident the villagers still thought of me as some kind of American. And I wanted to prove to them like, hey, I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. At minimum, I can catch a chicken. At a certain point, the villagers just started watching me. So in an effort to prove myself, that's just what I spent the rest of the day doing.
That was so cool.
You don't know true embarrassment until an entire village is laughing at you. And so I gave up, because what would I look like if I just kept trying to catch chickens for the next 2 hours after this? That would genuinely...
Hello. Tu veux? Tu veux? Oh, laisse maintenant. Be free. See, we're friends now.
This chicken changed everything. After everyone in the village witnessed how amazing my chicken catching skills were, they all started to love me, and pretty soon people just literally started giving me their chickens.
Merci. Much food. This is me recreating the last.
What is this?
This one looks wrong.
He gave you the biggest one, you know that, right?
He did. This was the biggest one in the cage. Have you done that?
Oh my god. That is so nice. Yeah, it's okay.
Are we gonna eat this?
Of course.
So this is the point where I started to get pretty infamous around the village, which brings me to one of the most important parts of this trip. You see, early on, the villageois showed us around the village and walked us to a stream, and it was probably one of the hardest hikes I've ever done. But these kids didn't even break a sweat the entire time, so I had to act tough to save face.
I'm barefoot now. I've been climbing up this mountain. Hey, they said walk slowly here.
2 hours later, we made it.
I'm just trying to get this poop out. Yo, no way, this kid. Yeah, this kid is actually different, bro. Les villageois. C'est les villageois.
But what was interesting was, as tough as the villagers were, they refused to take us to this waterfall that was at the edge of the village. Apparently it was too far and you're not really supposed to go up there. But what if it was your last chance to gain respect from the villagers because you can do something that they were too scared to do? So the next day, my cousin from Paris and I went up the waterfall.
So like, make sure I'm planning before you make a big step. So that, like if you slip,
I got you. Merci mon frère. Merci. Oh, c'est belle. That's crazy. We really did it. It's beautiful.
Careful, bro. Your parents are gonna be mad at me. Woo! Take it in. Yeah, take it in.
After I climbed the waterfall, not only did the villagers consider me one of them, but I also considered myself a villageois. I feel like even as a king, villageois is just something that never leaves you. So how did I become king?
Whoa.
Remember when I said the act of becoming king was actually the easiest part of this entire video? Well, I wasn't lying. Getting the villagers to accept me had less to do with whether I'd get the throne, but more to do with whether I deserved it. It was completely a personal goal. I just made this plan for myself because I guess I wanted to feel better about the fact that I'm kind of a nepo baby. You know, I have the greatest family ever, and it happens to be that there's a couple of kings in my family, and I guess I'm next or something. Obviously, I stretched the truth a lot in this video for the sake of story and comedic purposes, but seeing the villagers and most importantly my family was definitely the most life-changing experience ever. If you're watching this and you ever get the opportunity, learn where you come from. Just go for it, because you might be a king or a queen too. You never know.